Hello, I'm Emma from Dynamic Dunescapes, and today we're going to be talking about birds of prey on our sand dunes, in particular the owls you can find along our UK coastlines. To do this, we're going to be getting hands-on with some owl pellets that we've collected, and we're going to have a look at what they've been eating. Owls are a really useful indicator species, as are birds of prey in general, for seeing how healthy a habitat is. As they're a predator, they're going around and eating lots of the smaller things that you'll find in a habitat, and we can come along and dissect these pellets full of undigested material to help us see exactly what's found in the habitat. You can find owl pellets under any of an owl's favourite roost sites. They like to return to the same place over and over again, so even if you haven't seen an owl in and around a habitat, you may still be able to find these pellets to prove that they're there. And scientists find this really useful because they can collect the pellets and see exactly what they've been eating. As you break them down, you can see the bones and the fur and the hair of anything that's been eaten that then wasn't digested and is then brought back up. They can then determine the number and the variety of species that the owl has been predating upon and see exactly how healthy a habitat is. Of the 5 owl species you find in the UK, you're more likely to see the barn owl and the short-eared owl on our sand dunes. The barn owl is something that more people will be able to recognise. They're those pale, ghostly owls that you see quartering fields looking for prey. And then the short-eared owl is a mottled brown owl. You're more likely to see them in winter during the winter migration as they make their way south. But they too can be seen hunting over grasslands in the sand dunes, looking for small rodents to feed on. Pellets are the undigested material that's brought up after an owl has digested its hunt. So they'll go out and hunt. For barn owls, you can see them at dawn and dusk, but they will also hunt at night. And then short-eared owls are more likely to be at dawn and dusk, but again, if they're hungry or they're feeding young, they'll be out whenever they need to. They then return to their roost sites and they will sit and they will digest their food. Anything that can't be digested, like fur, hair, bones and that sort of thing, is then brought up in a pellet. These pellets can vary in size depending on how much has been eaten. And this one from a little owl, as you can see, is very, very small. But then again, this one is also from a little owl and is almost double the size. It just depends on how big the feed was and how long it's been since they last brought up a pellet. As you can see, we've got bones sticking out of them already. So we're going to cut some of these up and have a look and see just exactly what's going on inside. So let's compare some of these. We have one of these teeny tiny ones from a little owl, and then we also have one from a barn owl, and the ones we're going to cut up today are going to be from a snowy owl. All 3 of these pellets come from species that can be found in the UK. The little owl and the barn owl are both native species, and then the snowy owl can be found in northern Scotland. They come down from the Arctic because they're much more of a cold weather bird. So today we're going to be dissecting the snowy owl pellet as it is the largest. So let's have a look what is in here. Now this has come from a snowy owl in a local zoo, so we do have a little bit of sand from the aviary still on there, but that shouldn't make a difference as to what is inside. Now be very careful if you want to do this at home. You're absolutely more than welcome to. But just remember that if you're out collecting anything from nature, that it is not sterile. You don't know what that animal has eaten or what could have been growing on it or anything like that. So make sure if you're not doing it with gloves on that you wash your hands and you're always got good hand hygiene. We recommend some forceps if you do want to, just to help you get in there a little bit easier. Now straight away we can see that there is a lot going on in here. There's a lot of fur from likely the mouse that's been used in the diet, but we also have little bits of bone and maybe even some teeth or claws going on here. Let's have a look at those. Let's just bring them out. So look at that, a little fragment of bone here where it has been broken whilst it's been eaten. but hasn't yet been fully digested and therefore has been brought back up. And we have another one here. This looks like it would be part of a leg. We're probably looking at maybe a humerus. So that part in the front of the leg in really good condition there. And then we've also got lots and lots of fur and other bits going on. You've got more bone here. And this owl has clearly been eating a lot of dark or grey mice. Maybe they're black or dark brown. And then you've also got some grey going on in here. Lots of people do sometimes ask, are they maybe poo? But they're not. This is undigested matter that comes up. It's almost like solid vomit, which is a lovely idea. But they are very, very useful, because if you were to rebuild this skeleton, you'd be able to know how many mice or rats this owl had eaten, and then you can identify the species. For barn owls, you'll find a lot that they eat a lot of voles, and if you map the vole population against the barn owl population, you can really see the impact of a good vole year. If it's not been too wet and they've been able to get out and have lots and lots of young, you'll see the next year you'll have lots and lots of barn owls. So let's see if there's anything else interesting in here. And it looks like, there we go, it looks like we've got a little bit of a jaw going on here. Oh, that looks like the other half of that jaw, and they even have the teeth still intact. So you can just see those teeny tiny bits there are those back teeth, and then these bits as they come forward are the ones that you can often see protruding from a small rodent. So you've got a jaw here just like that. Okay, so let's have a look in the barn owl pellet and see if there's anything different. Let's see. So this one looks to be a lot more fur and a lot less bone. We've got a few little bits, like we've got one here that's going to be part of a leg somewhere along the line, and we also have a little bit here. And this is what scientists could be doing as part of their day. You know, if you're going to investigate an area, you can either set up traps and see exactly what falls into those traps. You could set up cameras, or if you want to see how species are interacting, you've got to go and see exactly what they leave behind. And then you'll know what they've been eating and if they've been finding something easier to catch rather than something else. You could count the different numbers of species and sort of safely assume that if a barn owl likes to eat voles and mice at the same rate, but that there's more voles in their pellets, maybe there's more voles in the environment. Barn owls and short-eared owls hunt in the grasslands found in and around our sand dunes, but unfortunately many of the sand dunes in Europe are in poor condition and are facing biodiversity loss. To help combat this, Dynamic Dunescapes is working to restore and rejuvenate key sand dune sites in England and Wales. One of the ways we're doing this is through scrub removal to help our grasslands flourish. We go in, sometimes with diggers and sometimes with volunteers, to remove certain species or certain areas of scrub. We take out things that may be invasive or that have become overgrown to help create space for the grasslands. This in turn creates space for the rodents, which help the owls to flourish. Dynamic Dunescapes is a partnership project led by Natural England, and it works with Plant Life, Natural Resources Wales, National Trust and the Wildlife Trusts. We're funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund and the EU LIFE programme. To find out more about what we do or to get involved, head to our website dynamicdunescapes.co.uk.